Rain outside the window. Eunice sits by the glass. No makeup. No smile. No longer silent. She says, I finally said it. I quit. Not with drama. Not with a shout. Just a sentence. Just resolve. By 2025, 3 Korean companies have pledged to cancel Secretary Beauty Systems and introduced anonymous reporting platforms. Some stood up quietly and changed the rules. Without applause. They didn't ask to be the face of a campaign. They just stopped being the background. This system was never about skill. It was always about control. Control over what you wear, how you smile, where you appear. And now, the question echoes. Would you rather be a pretty label or a person with dignity? We're not accessories, not image props. And we're done being compliant templates. We are people who remember, who document, who say no. This system doesn't need more obedient girls. It needs people who see clearly the story isn't over, but silence is. In certain Cambodian villages, rental relationships are no longer urban legends. They are systems. Girls live in assigned housing blocks, phones on full GPS, and once an order comes in, they're transported, light makeup, light clothes, to a client's apartment or a themed cafe. The document says, companionship, not intimacy. But the pricing chart tells another story. Every hour, every photo, every private chat is monetized. An anonymous woman revealed, they told me I wouldn't stay overnight, just dinner and walks, but I had to do 3 private sessions every night. Talk, pose, smile, post. At first, it felt like short-term work, but soon, she was a white girlfriend package, on demand. The worst part, this wasn't voluntary. Accepting the gig meant surrendering her schedule, her movement, her agency. What looked like emotional connection was just a structured transaction. What felt like intimacy was a staged role play, written for someone else. They thought it was an exotic escape. If I smile bright enough and dress the part, freedom will follow. But the illusion faded quickly. Ellie, a European woman, recalls, we were told this was a holiday job, photos, walks, no pressure. But once we signed, they took our passports. That was the moment she realized. It wasn't them choosing the system, it was the system claiming them. 5 a.m. Wake-ups for appearance checks, makeup, posture, mood, all inspected. No free movement, no private internet, locked dorms after 10 p.m. She recorded the door. Heavy chains, silent nights, her eyes in the dark. The worst part isn't exhaustion. It's not knowing how long you can still say no. In 2025, a Cambodian Go revealed 68% of women in this sector reported movement restrictions. 24% experienced abuse but never filed a report. Smiles and surveillance coexist. What looks like a dream under sunlight is a shadow play after dusk. This isn't chaos. It's a system with silent coordination. Tourists bring desire. Agents control access. The village offers the stage. These agencies operate under names like Cultural Exchange Platform or Volunteer Service Center. The women, labeled as short-term cultural consultants or performance aides. Their visas come via a tourism MOU. Their accommodations are linked to inactive guest houses. On paper, legal. In practice, manipulated. A former village head said, we all know what's going on, but no one names it. Everyone here eats from the same bowl. New cabins built with rent money. Middlemen claiming training center subsidies. Local police patrol only to ensure nothing gets noisy. It's a tripod. Remove one leg, and it collapses, so no one dares to shake it. In 2025, audit reports revealed over 700 cultural service contracts in 4 villages went unregistered, signed by foreign travel platforms and local village officials. This isn't a loophole. It's an agreement, shared in silence. She said she came to see the world. She didn't expect to become the world others came to see. Emily, an American girl, signed up for a cultural immersion program in a tropical Cambodian village. Orientation said she'd promote exchange and accompany tourists. She believed it. Day 1, she was taught how to wear local clothes, how to smile, sit, nod. Day 2, she was paired with a male tourist. Someone followed them quietly with a camera. She asked questions, gently dismissed. He paid. Just stay with him, the agent said. Emily described it as a strange feeling, like being in a role play, where I never got to read the script. On the 3rd night, she was asked to stay over. That's when it hit her. This wasn't cultural, it was performance. And she was the product. I wasn't really free, she said. I just looked like I was. According to a 2025 global survey, over half of the 63 women interviewed had similar experiences in volunteer programs. 31% were approached again even after returning home. Their fall wasn't sudden. It was a slow removal of self, wrapped in politeness. In the West, being a companion is often framed as a private choice, a profession, a freedom. But here, in this Cambodian village, it becomes something else, unwritten, unrecorded, but present in every smile, every room, every itinerary. Emily recalls one tourist saying, "I thought you were a freelancer, choosing this life." She couldn't explain. It wasn't a choice, it was a setup. The real question isn't whether she agreed. It's who gets to define what accompanying means. When power imbalances shape the context, economics, language, legal status, can consent still be pure? 2025 and Gender Report says, voluntary does not mean free from coercion. When structural pressure exists, willingness doesn't equal freedom. What looks like cultural exchange can be a polished surface, masking global inequality. One side says, she owns her body. The other quietly signs a paper she didn't read. We have to ask, who, across cultures, gets to define her freedom? Some cracks begin with platforms pulling back, quietly, without a sound. In March 2025, complaints started surfacing on Airbnb TripAdvisor. One review from a German traveler read, "I thought I booked a cultural guest house, but the girls were expected to accompany guests, like a staged performance in disguise." Shortly after, several local agencies began removing listings related to couple experiences. No statements, no explanations. Even customer support avoided certain words. Was it fear of exposure or silent pressure behind the scenes? And Go called Traveler Safety Program stepped in and gathered 35 anonymous testimonies from women within 2 weeks. The themes were eerily consistent: loss of autonomy, psychological manipulation. Legally, things remain murky. Cambodian law does not explicitly prohibit these arrangements, but legal experts note, if deception or forced companionship is involved, it could qualify as contractual fraud. If cross-border recruitment or trafficking is evident, it could meet human trafficking definitions. The takedowns didn't end the issue. They revealed the real problem: transactions that flourish in daylight, but live without a name. Not every escape ends in arrival. In the spring of this year, a white van pulled into a rescue center in southwest Cambodia. Inside were 11 young women, from different countries, but with eerily similar stories, guided by language, blurred identities, and trapped in the illusion of cultural hospitality. 5 of them chose to undergo counseling. One of them, Emily, later posted online, "I wasn't weak, I just believed something I shouldn't have." But beneath her words, the most common reply read, "Why did you go to that kind of place?" Survival doesn't guarantee freedom. Some tried to speak out, only to be drowned in doubt. Some returned home, but never spoke of it again. According to Cambodia's Human Rights Watch report, nearly 40% of women who returned chose silence. Why? Because they feared being labeled, questioned, forgotten. This isn't the end of a journey. It's the beginning of a deeper struggle between telling and staying silent. When love is packaged as a commodity, who truly holds the wings of that golden freedom? Is it the women trapped in the gray zones, or the unseen hands controlling the game? This is not a matter of personal choice. It is the system's flaws and regulatory failures, that turn countless dreams into prisons. Tourism platforms, as bridges connecting travelers to experiences, must shoulder undeniable responsibility. Any concealment or tolerance only fuels the spread of injustice. Cooperation between China and Cambodia in oversight is urgent. Only by breaking the silence and rebuilding rules can we ignite real freedom for the victims. Every gaze can tear through the gray fog. This is not about willing or not, but about what the system allows. Join us in calling to end this captivity disguised as a vacation. Use the hashtags #StopCurrent, #NotVacationBetrapped. The future needs more voices of justice, united into a force impossible to ignore.